Hey there, YouTubers. Caesar Briggs 1996 here today. I have a pretty sweet video for you. Now, this probably won't be a full build, but it's going to be a build kind of at the start. And in the end, I'm going to show you what I start doing with this. But this is actually a JD2 Model 32 hydraulic bender. So that one up there. Got it for work. It is for work, but I'm going to be able to do a lot of stuff with it. So that's why I'm staying after today, putting it together. So the hydraulic unit, it doesn't come with it, the pump. So we just went ahead and bought that from JD2. It's $1,000. It has the switch for retract and all that stuff. It's all plumbed for this hydraulic cylinder in that box over there. So it's just way easier. Just get everything from JD2. I think total, we bought 2 dies, the bender and the pump. It was like $2,700. We bought a 1-inch, 3.5 centerline radius die, round tube die, and we bought a 2-inch. I think it's a 6.5 centerline radius, and they're both 180-degree dies. So the 2-inch we're going to be using for digital readout arms on our machines, and the 1-inch, well, I mean, that's just, we've got a lot of 1-inch tube for our kits, our gauges that we make. So I'm personally going to make some crash bars for my DRZ out of that stainless, that 1-inch stainless. I've got 1-inch stainless tubing. I've got stainless wire for our MIG, and some stainless plate to make some brackets so it'll mount on the frame. I'm kind of going to copy SSB's engine guards, but I'm not going to spend $500 on them, and those ship from Japan and all that stuff, so I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I just do the easy thing and spend $2,700 and make it yourself. But that's the plan for this right now. This is the pedestal plate that I made. This is like 3/4 inch steel that we had a bunch of lying around. This bolt pattern is kind of weird because measured it, it's definitely not 2.5. It's 2.4 center to center and 1.25 side to side. So if you drill your first hole where you want it, and then you just move an 1.5 inch, what is it, 1.25 maybe? I forget. I wrote it down somewhere. 1.25, yeah, 1.25 and 2.4 over. Drill your second hole, and that'll be good. I did that on the Bridgeport, so that's actually perfect. And then I just chamfered them with the chamfer bit. So that's good. We have some 2.5 inch tubing that's going to weld to here, to this pedestal. Here goes my clock. Hold on. My Mustang clock. We're going to weld I'm going to weld the 2-inch tubing, 2.5 inch tubing here. That's going to go to a cart. We have die carts for tombstones. Not like dead people tombstones, but tombstones for the mill over there, the horizontal mill. So those die carts have 4 posts on each side, one on each corner, and I've got some tubing that slips right over that. So we're going to make that one a cart, so it'll be removable if we ever want to move it, but it'll slip over the corner post, and the power pack and dies can stay on the cart. And then we're going to build like a table that slips into the other 3 corners. That's so that you can, it's removable, but you can also, you know, put your tubing on it and stuff, and then it'll bend off of the cart, so it doesn't like get in the way of anything. That's the plan anyway. So I had to make this to start putting it together because it sandwiches all that in between. So I just figured I can weld this onto the tubing at any time. Doesn't matter. But this is basically the layout. These 2 arms sandwich the other arm. This is manual. Hydraulic is somewhere else. There's hydraulic. So they give you this big block. These are, all right, so I think it's like $450 for the manual, but who wants to do that? So it's like $900 for the hydraulic that comes with the cylinder. So it's an extra like $500 just for the cylinder and this little like adapters thing for the cylinder. And then it's $1,000 for their pump, which is about going right because a shitty Harbor Freight pump was $399, and it was 1/3 the power, and it's meant for a car lift, so it's meant to be mounted vertically. This one is meant to be horizontal, which and then you got to get the lines, the plumbing, the dongle for the controls. It's way easier just to buy it from them, and they probably know it. So, yeah, but we'll take a look at the build quality. So pieces like this seem pretty decent. Just machined out of a big plate. You can still see the rough cast or rough scale on there. There's some pretty sharp burrs on this thread, like right there. I almost just cut myself on that. This is a made piece, but these pins, they're really cool, but they're unfinished. That's mill scale right there, ladies and gentlemen. So you've got turned down and you got a hole drilled, but that's unfinished. I don't know why they would do that. And it's going through a painted hole. You'd think that they would polish these pins and polish these holes just so everything goes smoothly. Same thing with these. These are just Schedule 40 pipe. I mean, they didn't even bother to run some Scotch-Brite or something over them to take it off. But, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a, does it need to be polished and everything? No. But would it be nice if it was? Yeah. Are you really spending the price of them polishing it? Not really, if you got the manual, which this is just a manual set with the arm, the handle taken out and those two blocks put in. And this even comes was in a different box. So it's really not, it's not expected, I guess. So it's already plumbed for quick disconnect. So you could also use that power pack for other stuff like Port of Power, Jaws of Life, whatever you guys need. So I'm gonna put this together. It looks pretty simple. There's just a lot of bolts. And I'll probably, next I see you, I will probably be up and running, maybe even bending some tubing, because I'll do that on the weekend. It's Thursday today, or Wednesday, jeez. So stick later in the video and you'll see. All right, YouTubers, this is day 2 on the JD squared Model 32 hydraulic bender. Let me move this on over to a more suitable lighted position here. Lock that bad boy down. So here we have the assembled, mostly assembled Model 32 bender. Easy build. It took half hour tops, and I'm very impressed with how these pins slide in and out on a weldment that's bolted together with Schedule 40 pipe. Then again, it's been turned, should be all square and flat, and these pins aren't finished. This is just rough mill stock on the outside here. They're not ground pins at all, but they fit pretty darn good. That one's going obviously in between these two arms. This one for the die, I am quite impressed. You can take the hydraulic clevis out so that this can swing freely. This clearly states top. The instructions are all right, but there's no hydraulic specific instructions. So it, like on the instruction page, it has a bunch of spacers and all that crap for the ratchet system that they have on the manual bender, but on the hydraulic one they don't have that, so it's just 2 pipes. So 2 there, 2 there. I believe it's always going to be 2 on the swinging arm, but pipes on the swinging arm, I don't know about that. So bolted it together, made sure that this block was in here for the hydraulic cylinder. I just threw this hydraulic cylinder in here about 3 seconds ago. I didn't tighten it all the way because this would point up, but so I figured I'd want it to point down towards the cart where I'm going to have the power pack. Other than that, there was like a plug in the end of this, which just pulls out. You don't have to unscrew it. It has like a ratchet. You know how a ratchet holds a socket? It's got the little ball on the inside. It's just got that. You can pull it out. Screw this in there. This also just, you can spin it so it doesn't have to line up specifically. And the clevis pin comes out. Swing this back in here. And voila. It's now connected. So, this is the pedestal I built. Pretty easy, 2.5 inch square tubing. I welded some nuts on there, and we had these nuts lying around, so I was like, or T-bolts, when we're never gonna use them for anything else, so I cut them down on the lathe. They were like an inch or two longer than they are now, and they just pin against here, and it really, I mean, with these loose, because I can loosen them up, and it does the same thing. So with these loose, this has quite a bit of wobble in it. And then my genius idea was to put these in here, and look at that, it just tightens the whole thing right up. No need for a tool or anything. No wobble. That little noise was the pin, but no wobble in it. I'm very happy with that. The pedestal is the coolest thing. Well, it's the thing that I put the most time into. So it's all welded under here, just butt welded. And those are the two bolts, the two washers and nuts that they give you. Perfect length, this thickness of plate, to come right to the end of the nut. This just slips over. We've got a bunch of die carts, so I'm thinking, there's also die carts over there with, these are 12-inch. There's also 18-inch versions. So I made it for a 12 so that it can go on any cart. And then if there's an 18, it'll just be up in there more. Little con of JD2. I called them because Power Pack still isn't here. And the second shipment for that day, the next day after I got this, was just the 1-inch die showed up. So called them. They were like, oh, lead time is for the first week of September. And I was like, never told me that. Didn't say anywhere on your website. Kind of a scummy thing to do. Because what can I do now with this bender? Nothing, because it's not even a manual, so I can't do anything with it. So that's the kind of stupid thing. Don't really like how they did that. But it would have been nice to know, not that it would change anything, but it would have been nice to know that I couldn't do anything with this. But it made me actually put time and effort into this pedestal, because if I had had everything, I probably would have wanted to bend on like a bench and just like assembled it and put it on a bench. So really happy. We're probably going to do Power Pack on one side, and then we have a plasma cutter that is just kind of like on an office chair around here somewhere. So I figured we can put it on here. We're also going to make a table that uses the same system here, 2.5-inch pipe. Have like a little table so you can work on there. Oh yeah, I still haven't put the little thing. Another thing, I don't know where the pointer is for this, because this is the 1-inch die I came in. I'll show you this. It's actually pretty darn nice. So it was $183, I believe, for the 180 degree jaw, or what am I trying to say? Die. So this is the guide or whatever. Here's the die and the slip yoke, whatever strap. Yes, slip strap, I think they call it, or something like that. And I think the pin for that is the one that's left over. But yeah, oh, there's the pointer. I found the pointer. I was gonna say, because on the video, or on the picture, it shows it going into the die, so I didn't see that, but that makes sense. I guess it comes with each die. It's kind of weird, but I'm not gonna knock it. But yeah, pretty decently made. Very nice machine. I couldn't make this for 180 bucks. I don't care who you are. Nicely welded. Very nicely machined. They turn on lathe, looks like. And apparently their die is like some specially calculated thing, and that's why everybody likes JD2. But so far, I don't like them. I like them. I want to like them, but the thing that they did with the Power Pack is kind of scummy, in my opinion. But I'm not a businessman, so what do I know? Besides that, it's going to make a really nice cart. We got these carts from, I think, the GM power plant. They went out of business. One of their plants was closing or shifting stuff around. They had an auction. So another good thing with these carts is we had this little jet bandsaw that's always been in the way. So I was like, why don't we put it on a cart? And we did. So this I actually used to cut the tube for the pedestal. Just rolled it up there, because we don't have this special quad lock plug everywhere. It's only up in the tool room. So I just rolled it on down there, plugged it in, cut off one, instead of setting up the huge saw over there, I don't know if you guys have seen that in my other videos. Saw is freaking huge over there. It's like a special CNC saw. So didn't want to do that for one cut. Really easy to set that up. And that's kind of what we're trying to do with bending too. We don't bend every day. We probably won't even bend once a month. So just something you can set up. And the good thing about this is we can take this and rotate it so that it's not sticking so far off. So I'll rotate the pedestal so that it's facing inward. Quick disconnect, so you can disconnect it. Then this could also be a hydraulic power pack unit. We could get different things for like a porta power or whatever you need, because the hydraulic unit will work for anything, I'm assuming. I don't know. I'm not an engineer. What do I know? But decently made. I was very surprised. We were all surprised that these pins were just unfinished, but fits. I see a lot of people online with really tight pins. I don't know if that's... This one's a little tighter, but it still goes in and out just fine. Yeah, I see a lot of people online with the tight pins. And I was going to polish them. I was going to take them with polisher, and then I was going to take a Dremel with the polishing wheel and polish these holes out. But they even coated these holes, whatever this coating is. I think it's just powder coat. And it's like a rough texture, sandy texture, and it still slides in there nicely. I don't know. I don't know what to think so far. I'm impressed with the build quality, and the price is really the thing that you can't beat. To get a manual one of these, granted you don't have a die or pedestal, but to get a manual one, it's like $380 or something crazy like that, when a Hausfeld is like $1,400 for a manual Hausfeld. A used one. When in reality all this is a copy of the design of a Hausfeld, but it's just plates instead of, you know, like the bent used that the Hausfeld is. And the hydraulic, so you buy the hydraulic, which is the only difference is this block and obviously the cylinder. You don't have the whole ratcheting arm and system and all that crap. I think it's like $970 for the hydraulic version. I guess most of the price is that unit, the piston, but then the hydraulic pack doesn't come with it. You have to buy that separately. We were looking on Harbor Freight. It was like $400 for unplumbed, a vertical sitting one for like the car lift. And it just seems easier to pay the $1,000 and have it plumbed with disconnects and with the trigger for this. So the only thing I got to do is put that readout on here and hurry up and wait, basically. I also got to figure out a way we're going to store the dies. Since it is a cart, I was thinking just like kind of like the pallet we have for our masters, just kind of like a thing, but we only have 2 dies so far. Well, one is actually here. One is not even in stock. And again, they didn't tell us these weren't in stock. Not that it matters to us, but to somebody who it does matter would kind of be pissed off, more pissed off than I am. But anyway, that's beside the point. I've hemmed and hawed about this already. So yeah, this will be a pretty neat, slick little setup once we get it all done. And I look forward to it. Seen some videos online of this bender, and it looks pretty slick. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments or suggestions for the cart, make it better, leave them down below. I'm always like to hear what you guys have to say. If you guys have any questions, leave them there too. I'll try and answer them. But for now, I'm actually later. I passed the time I'm supposed to be here, but I don't care. It's the weekend. It's how it be. So that's locked in there nicely. Yeah, I like it. I also had to fix these because somebody had previous, obviously, at GM, had locked it and rolled it around. So the little rubber pad that was on there is just gone. So when you lock it, it wouldn't lock. So I drilled out the replacement hole where you're supposed to like push a rubber pad in, but because obviously I don't have those, and I just tapped it for a half 20, or no, half 13, because I didn't have any half 20. Put a set screw in there, and now it's and then I just adjusted it to be perfect to lock it, and it's still adjustable. In the future, I can adjust it more or less, and that locks it really well. So I'm happy. I actually came up with a use for these carts, because right now they're just sitting in the friggin' way. But I'm probably gonna take that wood off of there, because it's sheet metal under here, but the wood, the last person just, I guess, had a use for the wood, but it looks poopy. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Those are really the only things I had. This will be a 2-part video. The first part is when it got in, and I'll splice it together with this video. The next one was going to be when the hydraulic unit comes in. Don't know when that'll be. And then I'll probably have another video of actually making my crash bars for my bike with this unit. But painted it red to kind of match. It's obviously not the same red, but better than yellow or black, I guess. Black would have looked fine, but looks pretty slick. I might go into the business of selling carts. No, I won't. But there we go. See you guys later. Thanks for watching. It's a long outro.